So welcome everyone. This is a respite from Asian Classics Institute A. Hence the semi-formalities. Are we there? Can you see that? Yeah. No. Do we kill the first row of lights?
Yeah.
And I need sound. So it's February 2014 and winter's nearly finished. Another 6 weeks of ice and snow. Congratulations on your engagement. To avoid.
It took one out of circulation.
It's so conventional.
Any boy or somebody you know?
You're funny, Paul.
That was awesome. I'm going to start using that.
Is that a Hector loss?
I'm just explaining to her what's happening, and we're all talking in English, and we're going to be working on Buddhism. So.
Yeah. It is ACIA. It just looks like Buddhism 101. Yeah. So what it is, you weren't here when we did the first class. So usually I teach the Asian Classics Institute in-depth course, which is a summary of the Geshe degree, 5 to 6 year program, 18 courses, 12 weeks per course. We decided this year we'd try something new, that once a month we would teach all that stuff from a culture that we don't belong to in our language, peeling away the terms that we are beginning to get too familiar with and therefore not have a real connection to. Yeah? So the point of this thing is just strip it all away. You've just landed on the planet, you're a human creature, you go, what the hell is this human creature, and why am I in these cycles of life, and what is there as my potential to become? And becoming a Buddha is one of those potentials. You can be anything. You know, you can end up being a cockroach, or you can end up being a happy human or an unhappy human. So the point is that in Buddhism 101, we discover what all these teachings from the Buddha are, and we have an honest discussion. And it's more like a workshopy discussion, really chilled and relaxed. But if you walk out of here today with something, it should be something you could use the very next instant of thought when you step outside, because these ideas have been placed into real life context, not so academic. The academic study that we do here is vital to get depth about this thing, but this thing, whatever we call this thing, should be so meaningful that you could use it instantly to improve the quality of life we have on the planet for ourselves and others. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Is that good? I'm actually going to do half the talking, you're going to do the other half of the talking, hopefully. Yes! Linda is the top. Okay. So, welcome everybody. My name is Hector, Marcel, Geronimo, Ochoa, Peralta, de Figurili de Malacaria, for those of you who...
The second.
The second? Yeah, that's right. Still, no, actually now it's the first. This first one's gone. So no.
Maybe you would still be the second because the first one existed.
Ah, damn it. The only one. No. And so, Buddhism 101. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cover what we did the first discussion, then I'm going to ask you to do some stuff, then I'm going to show you some videos and so on, and I'm going to talk some more. But I'm going to need a sheet of paper broken up into little pieces, enough for one person in each room. So can we get a sheet of paper that we can break over?
Yeah, I think I did. No, but I'll help you.
Yeah. And who knows something about Buddhism? Come on, like if a person stopped you on the street, yeah, that's such a Buddhist answer is like, I'm not sure, you know, what's a Buddhism, you know? Yeah, if someone stopped you on the street, on the train and said, hey, I've been thinking about this Buddhism stuff, what would your answer be? I'm asking for real. Well, like,
I've been thinking what's Buddhism stuff.
Yeah.
What would your answer be? I'd be like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking about?
You should come to Rachel.
Yeah, that's
You should go to Rachel's because I
I
can
would just
explain.
give him your number.
That's not so good.
I'd say it's all about karma.
It's all about karma. Okay, that's good. So that's a question that leads, an answer that leads to further questions. What would you like? Hey, I'm lost. What's this Buddhism stuff?
I think it's a way to live your life with understanding
Thank you.
how you act, what you think, what you say, what you do.
Oh, nice.
Creates your future and creates your life.
So it's a way to live your life, being mindful of what you say, what you think, and what you do, and how that creates your future,
And creates your world.
your world. Okay, that's nice. That's a nice answer. I wish someone had told me that 17 years ago.
I think somebody did.
Maybe they did. I didn't listen.
I don't know if I'm saying the same thing, but
No, but just like this is it. Don't double check yourselves.
Okay.
If you die tomorrow, you die with that knowledge in your head, right? So what is it?
you have the capacity to create your own reality depending on your prospects.
Is it some magic power? Like what is
No,
it?
everyone has the capacity to create their own reality.
Yeah. Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Okay. Anyone else? What's Buddhism, Anahita?
Buddhism is understanding the mind and reality. It's kind of like almost the science of mind and the science of reality.
Well, that's a nice answer. I like that too. It's so quick and clear. That's cool. Nick, do you have anything better than Anahita?
Never. Never come up with anything
That
better.
Anahita can acknowledge is better? Yeah.
Yeah. The process of blooming and understanding how that blooming occurs.
Okay.
And awakening.
Blooming. Okay. So, what's the point of it? So what's the point of understanding the world? So what?
Well, then you have, first and foremost, you know where it's coming from, what's causing your world.
Well, I know what causes my world. I was born and here I am.
Well, not really, because as Paul said and you said as well, as your actions of body, speech, and mind produce your reality. Where you can then argue you create reality. So if that's the case, what are you, first and foremost, that you create your reality?
Does everyone have a sheet of paper? Sorry to interrupt.
No.
Everyone should have a sheet of paper, or at least half of somebody that wants to share. Yeah.
Hey, this is Hector. I
Hi.
got Catalina's first Dharma class.
Hi, Catalina.
Hi.
I bet you it's not your first Dharma class in reality, but we'll get to that by the end of it. Welcome. Freak them out. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, what's your answer? What's your answer?
I would just add that it's also like about questioning the world around you.
Oh, how nice.
And in order to help you make sense of your reality.
Ah, that's nice. Yeah.
I like, it depends who's asking, right?
That's excellent. That's a
But
very nice answer.
If it's someone who's like more material minded or like tends to be not skeptical in a bad way, but you know, like the American inquisitiveness of some sort of skepticism. I like telling people it's just the science of reality and science of mind.
Okay,
You're
nice.
just studying how things work, like in a really logical way.
Rich.
I have a question. I heard that several people have described it as a science. Whatever happened to philosophy?
Yeah, all right.
I don't.
Yeah. Why do we use the word science? That's good. Why
Because
do we?
we're examining reality in a systematic way.
Philosophers do it too.
Yeah.
Right, philosophy and science are the same, called
Yeah.
differently.
Okay.
Actually, the first universities talked about science and philosophy being one thing.
His Holiness said that science is making a slow meditation.
It's making a slow meditation. That's
That's
nice.
good.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Nice person.
His Holiness also said today in this live stream thing I was watching about this Buddhism, which is the Buddhism religion, then there's the science of Buddhism.
Yeah.
So oftentimes what they're talking about when he's talking to scholars or experts and they're talking about how the mind works, he says it's the science of Buddhism or the Buddhism of science.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Nice. You have something to say?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
I think we live in a time where we're very comfortable with science, and so we're only open to things if they seem scientifically sound. And I think that idea came with the Renaissance in the early 14th to mid 14th century. So sometimes I think like science is just a word we invented that we're comfortable with to describe this world, and that's why Buddhism is called science.
I like that, Anna, because I don't know how it started for me, but the idea that at some point, if you just woke up, if you didn't know where you were before this millisecond, and if you just woke up in this condition, in this body, in this room, in this city, on this planet, and you'd wanted to figure it out, yeah, you'd have to use the language and the code and the ideas that were relevant to now. Yeah. So then it makes sense to say the word science or to say philosophy for the. I like Clara's answer because it depends who's listening, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what if you're all right? You know, what if all of you had a grasp? Because you see the words you gave made sense to you because they pointed to a sensation or an idealization that you had. Right? When you said philosopher, why not philosopher? When you said in Renaissance, when you said depends, you connected to something that was much more than those words you used. Mm-hmm. And that is what the Buddha tried to do for 50 years. To put words and concepts to an experience that was congruent and true to reality, to being, to this state, to much more than the words and the body and the thing. So Buddhism, or this ismness thing, this science, philosophy, whatever the hell you want to call it, is much more than what we call it. Yeah? So I'm going to ask you to do a little exercise with me. Thanks for the warm-up. I'm going to ask you to do a little exercise with me. Are you here? Are you here? Are you here? Yeah? Are you here? Okay. If that's so, don't think, don't analyze. The first words, the first ideas that pop up, first concepts that come up, grab a pen. You have a pen, you're going to be in trouble. You don't have a pen, how are you going to ever do this part of the exercise? Yeah.
I have a pen.
Why did you get a pen and then you didn't have a pen? Thank you. So remember all the words you used, right? And try and conceive of the idea that all the words you used, and first of all you had some conception of something, right? And then you put words to that conception so I could hear it and we could hear it. But that conception was bigger than the words. Yeah, that had much more depth. I'm saying there's something behind that conception. I'm saying there's something even bigger, a pool that's deeper. Before that conception, that idealization came. What's Buddhism? Before that came, there was something bigger that informed that conception. Okay? Getting all weird and mystical. So, I want you to try, without thinking too much, just quickly think, are you here? Are you here? Yeah? And then answer this next question that pops up to the best and deepest intention behind the first idea that pops up. Are we happy with that? Any more recommendations? Here comes the button. Why are you here? Yeah? Why are you here? And then you gotta know. There's something that pushed you into, wow, talking about weddings. There's something that pushed you to being here. Why are you here? Why are you here today? What made you get in the car and the subway out of work? And be as honest as you can, and don't put your name on it, just be as honest as you can.
Why are we here?
You mean literally?
In this
Literally, why did you come to a class of philosophy, Buddhism? Why are you here?
Why are we born?
No, but that's good that you're going there, that's deeper. Yeah.
Oh.
Don't think it too much.
I haven't figured that one out yet.
Why did you come here? Why are you here? And some of us will be some temporal thing, and some of us will be a deeper thing. But if you know why you're here, what you're trying to answer, what you're trying to find, whatever that drive or that push is, then being here can be useful. So I'm going to ask a couple of general questions about the motivation for coming to a class like this. Okay. Some of us do it out of habit, because I've come to lots of these classes. I think I have to come because I'm teaching it. And if you're shy about answering, give me a general answer, right? And if you really want to get an answer, give me a specific answer. What do you think you're going to find here? Why are you here? So anyone want to volunteer an answer, and then we can have a meaningful discussion. Really.
I'll answer. So I've been studying for a while.
Yeah.
I was actually honestly not going to come to class today.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of stuff going on in Venezuela, where I come from.
Mm-hmm.
And it occurred to me as I was leaving the office that if there was something that I could do for them, was to come and learn more on how to change my reality from. That's why I came tonight.
That's nice. That's really good for tonight. Because my next question was going to be, okay, now that you all got your selfish reasons, let's think of other people. So you just saved you 20 minutes. Thanks.
It's still selfish. I'm trying to ease my anxiety.
No, but that's good. So what do you think you're going to get? What possible thing could you get to help people over there?
Knowledge, like planting the causes for me to see a different reality and be able to help others to see their reality differently.
Okay. Practical knowledge. Next answer, someone. Why are you here?
I do come out of habit.
You do come out of habit.
But it's a habit that I've consciously cultivated
Nice.
over a period of years.
That's
because
nice.
I feel like it's changing my life. I've noticed it changing my life over the years that I've been coming and listening and learning. And the idea of how you create your present world creates your future is something that I believe in. And so that's a habit that I've cultivated to try to consciously
That's nice.
change things.
So you're deepening
But
the
not for
code.
Venezuela.
No. From my New York. No, that's awesome. So that's good. So you're consciously now creating a habit that's deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, I know this stuff, and then now, despite your temporal being, you make a habit. You come. Okay, good. Next, victim. You've got to open up because it's for you. It's not for me. Yeah, and
I'm going to say that because I think it applies to a lot of people.
okay.
And it applies to a lot of people, to myself and to a lot of people I meet. I basically came because I think there's a greater me inside of me that I'm hiding from and I'm not quite aware of. And I think the world we live in, modern society, keeps that kind of person in you suppressed. They never ask you those questions. So I came here because I think there's the potential in each all of us, including myself, to be better, to live greater, and to be fully ourselves.
Wow. Can you sit here and I'll go over? I actually think you nailed it, right? I think it's fantastic. And this is why I'm pushing for an answer, because we live in a mode, we live we could be distracted for an entire life up until the moment we get from a heart attack or get run over by a truck or whatever, and then it's too late. But we live in a mode of being through this existence we call our modern world, where there is a whole bunch of us that we don't get to touch or be. Yeah? And we get glimpses at it every now and then. And so there is a way, there are practices in the world, this is just one of them, there are practices of being in the world that let you tap into that sense. And when you tap into it, then beings that do tap into that and stay there, or have figured out how to, then those beings would go, oh, that thing worked out, that Buddha, you see it in people, whether they're there for a short time or whether they've been there for a long time. When you meet a great teacher, a great master, or another Mother Teresa, another being that's touched that amazingness that is potential in all humans and all beings. Yeah, so I'm really happy for the answer, because you've allowed us now the door, you've opened the door for us to have a genuine discussion, not a, oh, I'm sitting in a classroom and I can just give you my correct answer. So thank you for that. Walter, you were going to say something.
Yeah, well, I think I have many different motivations for being here in general. Today, probably the most prominent one is something along the lines of what was just said by the person's name. I don't remember. I'm Walter again. Who was that person's name? Anna. And it's that I've come to view this room as a bit of a sanctuary. It's the only place. It's the only place where I can really put down like all that other stuff that like goes on in my head all day long out there that I recognize isn't really that important, but I kind of need to do that to survive. Yeah. And this is the only place where I can occupy my mind with questions that I think really, really matter. And the truth of the matter is I can't, at this point in time, I'm not strong enough to be able to, I'm not strong enough to do it on my own. There's something about being in this place and being in a room of people who are all sort of thinking about the same things that sort of gives me some inertia and ability to leave it all behind and think about these things.
Oh, beautiful. That's nice. Thank you. That's probably why I come here too. Yeah, and it's true. It's so funny. One of my teachers, Geshe Michael's teachers in Sarah Monastery, talked about meditating solo versus meditating with a group of people. And he didn't talk about it too much. He grabbed a pencil, and I just talk slow. A pencil. And he went like one person meditating. And then he grabbed like 10 pencils and went 10 people meditating. And he couldn't break it.
There's truth to that for some reason. It's really
there's something about being together. Yeah. And then there's something stronger about being together and being really deeper than most days. So when we're out there doing our stuff, we're like, oh, how do you do? Very nice. And in our heads we have our whole secret world. And there's something beautiful about saying, hi, I'm Hector, I'm Anna. And this is what I really think. It's like the veil is down. Yeah? And then we can be. And then we can begin to tap to that thing. I propose, Buddhism is a path and a step and a science and a psychology and whatever to allow you as a roadmap to let you get there. Yeah? But it doesn't take you there. You take you there. Yeah? And the big difference is like there's nothing outside of you that's called Buddhism or Buddha or anything outside of you that will take you there except you. The map can show you where you're going to fall off the cliff and where to go up the mountains and when you're in the deep valleys. But what we did just now, which is to openly and honestly say what most of us keep silent about, and then when you step in that, the whole world opens up in a new way. I propose that's what the science or the philosophy of Buddhism is. And there are other paths, it's not just the only one. They'll give you a result equal to the thing you do. No one's going to do it for you. And that was the big aha when I first met this thing that was such a thorn when I met it. You know, I was trying to think, if I had to give you a 5-second summary. I was writing it down outside. How is my meeting a philosophy that has the potential to connect to that all of me? Initially, I held it like a possession. I held it like a trophy. Yeah. Initially, oh, I'm Buddhism. I'm right, you're wrong. Yeah. And and I'm going to be okay, and you're not. Yeah. And then, I held it like a thing, to be honest, because that's what I came to it with. That was my state of mind. Yeah. Thinking, now I've got it. And then you hold on to it for a little while. And for me, at least, I'm not sure about other beings, for me, things got worse before they got better. Because now I had this thing that had all the answers, and after the initial, I've got a new present and it's all wrapped in gold, after the wrapping got old and it's still gold wrapping, it's still, the world didn't change. Yeah? Because I needed to do something. I needed to engage. Yeah? So then all of a sudden I saw my shitty reflection stronger than before, because I did have some tools and I wasn't holding them right, I wasn't using them right. Yeah? And hopefully when you engage with this or any other philosophy that is there to help you, after that period where you are sort of embarrassed that you've used it to have another badge on you, and then you see some fault in you or something to fix in you, then you get humble. And then you go, maybe I actually have to do some work. And you get sort of real about it. And for me, that was my first prostration. For real. It was like using the nominal me, the normal me, the me that found this thing, and being exactly the same way now with a new toy will not shift the way I am. I actually have to realize I'm not Mr. Special. I actually need to work on all these things that are forever showing me that I'm failing at something, that things are hurting. Yeah, I'm not getting that. I knew I wasn't on something until I decided that I had to put some real work into it. And real work meant, I don't know anything, let me listen rather than do and get busy and talk, and I slowed things right down. Meditation helped. So then all the practices come in and have a new life. Yeah? Because we could have sat here in this class and at the beginning and said, oh, I'm here because I'm learning Buddhism and I would like, but we didn't. We began quite deeply and honestly, and that opened up the terrain for us to be in a different mode. Now we have to do that for us. It's nice to do it in a group. It's rare to do it in a group of humans like this. So then what happens after you engage and you get really humble, you realize it's going to take you not a week, not 3 weeks, not a month, and all of a sudden you're smacked, because I've got a Buddhism badge. Yeah? You actually realize it will take you a lifetime. A life. A human life. What if it took you a life? A whole life. Is it worth it if you fix it? That thing that we don't get to connect to. What if after a life of habituating, a life of consciously submitted to the thing that turns you on to that, what we call Buddha nature, or that deeper essence, or whatever that is, what if a lifetime of habituation produces the result? Not a week, not an American shopping spree, What if it did? And then you realize, then you went, okay, I give up, I do the lifetime. And then once you do that, things really open up, and it doesn't take a lifetime. So I was trying to think of the journey that it has been part of my experience and the experience of colleagues and friends that I've seen in the West connect with these ideas. These ideas are transformative to no end, infinity, to the point where if you want to get really mystical and really amazing, forget the nominal little shitty sufferings we have. We all have luxury sufferings, and we all do, right? My house is too small, I don't have enough shopping money, you know? Seriously, our luxury problems are immense in America. But we're not the only beings on the planet. 7 billion humans like you and me crawling the planet. They don't have luxury problems. They are being bombed and chased and abused and bought. Like really, people like you and me, no luxury problems. But they suffer like we suffer. You know, we suffer when we can't get the apartment we want, and the job we want. And we suffer. That's real suffering. It's not pretend suffering. So there's something beautiful about the submission into truth, into looking at things as they are, not like some magical thinking that lovely angels are coming, you know, whilst everything crap is still going on. And then you get to work and go, okay, what's the work? Might hurt. Hopefully on the bits of paper you've put some sufferings, some things that are unhappy for you, some things you want to fix. So then a being like the Buddha, human form, sat there and said, I want to figure this out. And he sat there and he sat there and he sat there and he sat there, and then there's stuff that happened, and then he connected to that greater state of being that informed him of the true nature. The true nature. There's something false about the way we engage in this world. We fool ourselves thinking we're doing something when we're not. And I don't know, that's Buddhism. I went on a little rant, but I wanted to share with you what if after some effort you really not pretend, I'm going to do this Dharma thing or this Buddhist thing, and then all of a sudden I'll be okay. What if you really changed? What if you really accepted who you were beyond the level of acceptance you have? What if you loved yourself, not in a nominal thing because you got nice hair, or what if you truly loved the state of being that you are? What if you not only loved you, but you absolutely looked at every moving creature on the planet and you said, I love you beyond what I can express, and I want your happiness equal to mine. What if that state of being was available to you and you walked down the street and all you could feel was love? We wouldn't have so many luxury problems. We'd be happy with the apartment. You know? We'd do something to help each other, like we did just now by talking about being together. It'd be a lovely world. So that's available. That's up for sale. You gotta give something of yourself, and no one will do it for you and whatever. So anyway, that wasn't what I was intending to do. Let's hear it. Is someone else got any more things in it? Yeah.
I have a similar experience of what you just talked about.
Nice.
I've been with you from day one, which was what,
1966.
Right, around then.
Yeah.
And, I was one of those fluffy practitioners. I'm going to be really honest, and I have anger right now. I'm actually very angry.
No, we all got together to. This is an intervention for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's constructive anger, because it's sobriety. It's a stage of sobriety that's come to me
Yes.
after years and years of believing I was Buddhist
Yeah.
and wearing it as a trophy, and getting really sedated and intoxicated by this whole world and this idea of being compassionate and taking care of every sentient being, and going out of my way. And I came to Nepal and I went everywhere and I took care of everything, but I forgot myself. And now I'm understanding that there's some really deep, nasty, shitty things in me. And I'm not some angel goddess. That's all bullshit, And people say that to you in these circles, and
And you believe it because you loves it.
and you get high off of it, and you think, oh, I'm so spiritual. But that's not true. You can't help or love anyone unless you truly develop self-compassion, unless you really have intimacy and a lifelong commitment to yourself and your own mental process. Can you then commit to other people in an authentic and genuine way? Can you then consider yourself a compassionate being if you have the ability to sit with your own misery and to not beat yourself up for it?
Yeah.
And to be really authentic and really sober about your motivation, why you come to class, and why are you serving someone tea? Do you genuinely care for their well-being, or are you just doing it to be seen and to feed into some kind of subtle, perpetual state of self-claim or whatever it is? So it's just about becoming really sober, and it's not some fluffy road, and it's not some, little skipping down a perfect bliss world. And it's not, and it's ugly, and it's puffy, but it's the real shit.
Yeah, you
And
actually
it's
step
the
on
real
solid
work.
ground. Yeah, yeah.
You step on solid ground, and the results are then real.
Exactly.
And they
That's-
last. You don't just have moments of bliss, and then the next little obstacle comes and you lose
You
everything.
collapse.
You actually start arising with a new reality that's a reflection of a stable
Excellent,
mind.
excellent. I love that you said that, Anahita. And can I add something?
Yes.
A little twist? Yeah. So what if you got that soberness because you pretended?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, no. And how lovely, because then there's an acceptance to the thing. There's not an ignorant rejection of the pretending either,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it is both, yeah? And that's such a Buddhist answer, I know, but part of the path is pretending, like faking, yeah? And you're faking it, and for some reason you're sort of got to do that, yeah? And then that plants enough virtue, or enough seeds, or enough goodness in this projector of our mind to give us well, now I'm really doing it, yeah? And that's just been my experience. I don't know about everybody else's experience. I'm very happy that you had that experience because it means I'm right.
It's totally true. That's true in everything. My choir teacher, the only reason I do music and can have